in one of the Constituent Assembly debates, when there was a debate on Article 16 of the Indian Constitution, that it prevents the equal opportunity. In that reply, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has said that it does prevents the equal opportunities, but it is also mandatory to provide equal opportunity to those who are historically marginalized and who had not got even chance to do so. Hello and welcome to the special session of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu and today's session is about reservation in India. And in this session, we are going to discuss various aspects of reservation. We are going to discuss the history and background. We are going to discuss the history of reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, then Mandal Commission, then EWS reservation. After that, we are going to discuss women reservation. And here we will not much discuss about that, whether it is needed or not, and what is the for point, what is the negative points. But you can see the importance of reservation, that in every month, this is a matter of debate and discussion in mainstream media. The Supreme Court discusses the reservation aspect. The Parliament discusses the reservation aspect. The media discusses the reservation aspect, and also the colleges, the schools, and every educational institution discusses this thing. It means that it's very important to have a discussion on reservation in India. And in UPSC examination also, many times the question has been asked for related to the caste, to the equal opportunities, to the employment in jobs, and so many things. So that's why it's very important that we should know the all aspects of reservation and also the nitties gritties related to it. And this session is important for you GS2 perspective, also for the social justice perspective, for the essay perspective, and for ethics perspective, and also for your personality development test, because many times there can be a questions related to your that whether you are for up for reservation or not, and how it justifies the historical discrimination, and also that whether it is needed or not. So there can be so many debates related to it. So you need to be aware about the debates and discussions related to the reservation in this country. So moving towards the introduction part. So from where and why do we need a reservation in this country? Because and from where this debate has been started. So as you already know that in India we had a Varna system and we still have a caste system. Though the Constitution of India does not advocate any kind of the caste and it does not prioritize any kind of the Varna system, and we believe in democratic system, we believe that equal opportunity should be provided to all. But if we'll talk about the socially, the Indian society is based on the caste system and Varna system, and caste system is a distorted form of the Varna system. Now we'll come to the next session, which is about the historical background. So who had first thought about this thing? So William Hunter and Jyotirao Phule in 1882 originally conceived the idea of caste based reservation system. So many people have this confusion about that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had introduced, though yes, it is right that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had introduced the idea of representation, the idea of proportional representation of people into the Constitution Assembly debates, and initially it was provided into the Legislative Assembly and for the legislative post. But we do have a historical significance when we talk about the caste-based reservation system, and Jyotirao Phule had advocated this. So the reservation system that exists today in its true sense has been introduced in 1933. At that time, we had British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald, who had presented it in the form of communal award. And what this communal award for? So there was a separate electorates for the Muslims, Sikhs, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians, Europeans, and depressed classes. So what we have seen that here it is not solely based on the caste based, but here there was a term of the depressed classes. And after this long debate on communal award, we had this Pune Pact, which was signed between Dr. Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi. And what had happened in this Pune Pact? So earlier the Mahatma Gandhi was against this communal award, and Mahatma Gandhi had said that it will advocate another kind of discrimination in the society. So, but what is the idea of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar into this. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had said that we need separate electorates for the depressed classes of the society because we cannot see their representation in the society. But later there was negotiation between Gandhi and Ambedkar, and we can see that the communal award was abolished, and we can see the number of seats has been increased for the depressed classes, and it has become more than what you can say 71 to 148. So this can be thing. So this was about the communal award. And after independence, India got divided. There was a partition, and India got divided into two countries, Hindustan and Pakistan. But India had introduced this reservation system, and we do have reservation based on the caste. Because India was the country which was based on the caste, the society was divided on the basis of caste. So this reservation system was not solely defined to the Hindu religion. It also extended to other religion, Islam also, and other kind of religion. We do have some different kind of reservation system in when we talk about the Islam, when we talk about the Christianity, Buddhism and everything. But we do have reservation system in all religion in India. So after this, initially it was reservation was given to the SC/STs population, but later after the recommendation of Mandal Commission, we do have reservation for the OBC, which is other backward caste, and then we do have a reservation for the EWS category, and after that we have this Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, which means that there will be the reservation of women in the Parliament and State Legislative Assembly. So this is about the historical background of reservation. Now we'll come to the another one, which is about the constitutional provisions. So it is very important that do Constitution of India talk about the reservation, because if you have a constitutional validity, then this country is run by the constitution. So it's very important to find out the constitutional validity of any aspects and any provision. So the Constitution of India does not use the word reservation, but it do have a provision which provide the separate representation for the people and equal representation of the people, in order that people who are historically marginalized, who are marginalized on the basis of their caste. So the Constitution of India does have this kind of provision. So part 16 deals with the reservation of SCs and ST in central and state legislature. If we'll talk about the Article 15(4) and Article 16(4) of the Constitution, which enable the state and center government to reserve seats in government service for the SC/ST population. Then we have this Constitution of India, which has amended the Constitution, and it was the 77th Constitutional Amendment, which was in 1995, and it added a new clause 4A, which was inserted the Article 16 to enable the government to provide reservation in promotion. This is very much important for your examination, because this was a huge matter of debate recently. So that's why it's very important that do our constitution talk about reservation in promotion, and if it talks about which categories are qualified for it. Later clause 4A was modified by the Constitution 85th Amendment Act 2001 to provide consequential seniority to SC and ST candidates promoted by giving reservation. So here we need to understand this term consequential seniority. So suppose that if any person from scheduled caste background gets reservation in promotion, and the person has promoted one post for what its existing post was, so the person will keep promoting on the basis of reservation. So there will be the consequential seniority when we'll compare to the general category. So this is called as consequential seniority. Then we have 81st Constitutional Amendment Act 2000, and it inserted Article 16(4), which enables the state to fill the unfilled vacancies of a year. And in that time we have seen that the 50% ceiling was also breached. So this is about the constitutional provision. We do have another provisions for reservation. So we do have Article 330 and 332, which provide specific representation through reservation of seats for SCs and STs in Parliament and State Legislative Assemblies. We do have Article 243D, which provides reservation of seats for SCs, STs in every panchayat. And we have also constitution article for 233T, which provides reservation of seats for SCs, STs in municipalities. So what all these provisions shows that? So all these provisions shows that there is a provision especially for the SC, ST population of this country, and it provides reservation in terms of jobs, in terms of legislature, and in terms of what you can say educational institution. So the idea of reservation was on the three bases, and what it was, so it was legislature, the second is jobs, and the third is education. Few communities has their reservation in jobs and education, but they do not have this in legislature. But SC, ST population has reservation in all these three categories. Now we'll come to another one, which is about the Mandal Commission. This was very important commission which was constituted by the president of that time, and this was very important step when we talk about the OBC reservation of this country. Because of the Mandal Commission, they got this reservation. So it's very important to have a discussion on OBC reservation, because many times we hear so many debates on subcategorization of OBC and what will be the percentage of OBC reservation. Is it 27% justified for the OBC population? Because recently the Bihar caste survey shows that in that state OBC constitute more than 60% and they are just getting 27%. So it also raises a various questions on that what should be the proportion of OBC reservation. So when we'll talk about the OBC reservation, it's very important to have a background about the OBC reservation and Mandal Commission. So in the exercise of powers conferred by the Article 340 of the Indian Constitution, the President appointed a backward class commission in December 1978 under the chairmanship of BP Mandal. That's why it is known as the Mandal Commission. And what was the aim of this commission? So the commission was aimed to determine the criteria for defining the socially and educationally backward classes. This is very much important, because if we'll talk about the OBC reservation, so on which basis they have been given this kind of reservation? So they have given reservation on the basis of social and educational backwardness. So this term is very much important, and it had recommended various steps that how to improve their advancement and how to improve their representation in terms of education, in terms of the jobs. So this commission has recommended 11 indicators, and that has recommended that how to advance these communities and how to improve their representation in jobs and education. So that's why it has identified backward classes among Hindus, and not just among Hindus, it had also identified among the Muslims, Sikhs, Christians and Buddhists, and it has generated an all India other backward classes list of 3743 caste, and for another underprivileged which is known as depressed backward classes, which is list of 2108 caste. And according to this commission, more than 50%, around 52% of this Indian population consists of OBCs. So this was the history behind of the Mandal Commission and what was its recommendation. So here we are telling you the basic recommendation of the Mandal Commission. So this is about the Mandal Commission, and from there we can see that in 1990s we have seen that there was a reservation for the OBC communities, and earlier it was just given to the jobs, but later in 2007 it was also extended to the educational institution, and in 2021 we have seen that it has also extended to the medical examination. So now we'll come talk about the Indira Swani and other versus Union of India 1992. We do have a various cases related to the reservation, but this case was very landmark judgment, and it's very important because that has created another kind of debate and discussion when there was a talk of EWS reservation. So this was a 9-judge bench in Indira Swani case, and it imposed the ceiling of 50% of total reservations. It means that in this, the Supreme Court has reserved that the ceiling of reservation should not exceed to the 50%. So it is up to the parliament that what kind of percentage they will give. but this ceiling should not give a break. So this was the thing. And it has also introduced the concept of the creamy layer, and this creamy layer was applied to the OBC population. So presently it is applied to the 8 lakh. So those whose income is up to 8 lakh, whose parents income is up to the 8 lakh, so they are what you can say, if they are above the 8 lakhs, so they fall under the creamy layer. And recently we have seen debates related to the creamy layer, because so many, we have seen that forgery happened with the recruitment of UPSC officers and other examinations. So that's why it's very important to have an discussion on creamy layer, that what is the limit. So here the parents income is count, not the child's income and not the applicant's income. So there was a different criteria when it was introduced, but it changes over the time, but till now it is up to the 8 lakh. So the concept of creamy layer was introduced. And if we'll talk about the OBC reservation, so for initial appointment it is just applicable. Suppose that if a person has availed the reservation of OBC and has become an A class officer, so the person's child will not get reservation for OBC, and the person will be counted, and their child will be counted under the creamy layer. So this was the thing. So if a person is earning more than 8 lakhs, and there are criterias for other kind of jobs for chartered accountant, so they had listed few criterias, and you have to adhere to that criteria. So this is about that. This is not applicable to group A and group B services. And if a person got promotion before the 40 years of the age under group A service, so the person's child will not get this kind of reservation. So this is about the Indra Swani and other versus Union of India. Now we'll have EWS reservation. This is the recent in terms of the reservation list, and the 10% EWS quota was introduced under the 103rd Constitutional Amendment 2019. So this is very much important, because sometimes in prelims examination they ask about that which was the constitutional amendment. So this was 103rd Constitutional Amendment, which was introduced in 2019, and it has amended articles 15 and 16 of the Indian Constitution, and it had inserted Article 15(6) and Article 16(6) of the Indian Constitution, and it had extended 10% reservation to economically weaker section in jobs and also in educational institution. And what was the criteria? So their criteria is also up to 8 lakhs, and they had also the criteria of land, 5-acre land. So there are different criteria for it. And here your not just parents' income, overall a family income is counted. So there is a difference between the creamy layer of OBC and then EWS reservation. And their aim was that there should be those people who are earning and who are economically weaker and who are not covered under any of these categories, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, OBC. So they will get this kind of EWS benefit. So this is the thing, and there was so much debates around EWS reservation, and this matter has also reached to the court that it has breached this Indra Swani 50% ceiling. But Supreme Court's major opinion was that it has not breached the 50% ceiling, and 50% ceiling was not inflexible, and it has not what you can say comprehend, and it has not attacked the basic structure of Indian Constitution. So that wise Supreme Court has upheld this EWS reservation, and it is currently applicable in educational institution and jobs for economically weaker section of the society. So now we'll have about the women reservation. So if we'll talk about the women reservation, we had a long history of women reservation, but recently we had this act which is in English, and what you can say in general parlance it is known as Women Reservation Act, but the act's name is Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, and under this act 1/3 of reservation was given to the women in parliament and in state legislative assembly, and there is a separate provision for SC/ST women, but this does not have a provision of OBC women. So you should not confuse with this, because many time in examination they can ask question related to this. So they have a separate provision for SC/ST population, SC/ST women, but they do not have for the OBC women. But overall, it provides 1/3 reservation to the women. And if we'll talk about what is the current strength of MP, so recently we had concluded the 18th Lok Sabha, and in 18th Lok Sabha we have 74 female MPs, which is 14% of the total number of the MPs, and it has become slightly lower. Earlier we had 78 women MPs. In 17th Lok Sabha we have 78 women MPs, but right now it is just 74, so we had lowered. And Trinamool Congress has highest number of the women MPs. So if we'll talk about that, before Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, we had reservation for women in local bodies when we'll talk about the panchayats and when we'll talk about the municipalities, and it had already reserved 1/3 seats for the women. And Article 243D of the Indian Constitution provides that reservation of not less than 1/3 of the total number of seats for women, including the number of seats reserved for the SC/STs. And it had also mandated that a minimum of 1/3 of seats and office of the chairperson in panchayats and municipality to be reserved for the women. So we do have, we earlier have this provision that women in local bodies had got their reservation very earlier, but now in 2023, women had got 1/3 of reservation in what you can say parliament and state legislative assemblies. So this is about the women reservation. Now we'll come to the question part. So the question is related to the Mandal Commission. So to identify economically backward classes, so what was the primary purpose of the Mandal Commission? To identify economically backward classes, to define socially and educationally backward classes, and recommend steps for the advancement, to investigate political underrepresentation and propose electoral reforms, to identify backward classes among non-Hindus only. So you have to answer this thing, and you have to also look for the subcategorization debates, because there was a commission, Rohini Commission for subcategorization of OBCs, and we do have subcategorization of OBCs in Bihar and different kind of states, where OBC is divided into OBC and EBC, OBC and MBCs. Then recently we have also seen that the Supreme Court has also upheld that there should be and there can be a subcategorization of SC/ST communities. So subcategorization among SC/STs, OBCs was always a part of debate and discussion, and so many politicians are for it, and so many social activists, so many constitutional experts are for it, that there should be quota within quota. And till now we do not have any central laws that there should be the quota within quota, but there is a talk about the subcategorization of OBCs and SC/STs, and this matter has reached to the judiciary also, and Supreme Court had also given the decisions and rulings about the subcategorization of an SC and ST. So you must clear about this, that there should be the subcategorization of SC and ST or not, because this was a Supreme Court ruling, and there are chances that it can be asked in your examination. So you must be aware about this quota within quota system and subcategorization debates, the women reservation debates, the EWS, the Mandal Commission, and then there was a debate that why Mandal Commission indicators were not fully implemented, and also that what is the for points for reservation, what is the against point for the reservation, what should be the way forward for reservation. Is there any need? Is India reservation should be based on the caste? What is the basis of India's reservation? So all these points you must remember, and you have to read and you have to search and you have to make your opinion, make your points and make your knowledge very suitable for these kind of the topics. So that's it for today's session. I hope you like this session. If you have any queries related to this session, kindly ask in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.